Let me describe a ghost, you know. Look past the noise. Look past the people screaming for attention in the center of the room. Focus on the one at the edge. You know this person. They are the phantom observer. They are the ones who view your stories within minutes of you posting them. They read the group chat religiously. They track the pulse of the world with the precision of a seismograph. Yet, if you look at their own feed, it is a graveyard. A profile picture from 3 years ago. No status updates. No evidence of daily existence. They scroll quietly, absorb deeply, but they never leave a trace. You might know someone like that. Or, if you are honest with yourself in the dark at 3 a.m., maybe you are that person. You are the one who smiles a fraction of a second too quickly. The one who nods, says yes, and absorbs everyone else. Says energy, yet your eyes are quietly scanning for the exit sign. You are the safe harbor. For your friends, the one who replies instantly, but secretly, you are exhausted. And here is the question that always lingers. Why? Why would someone choose to stay unseen in a world that equates silence with death? It is easy to label them as shy or introverted, but those are lazy diagnoses. Beneath the surface, there is a sophisticated psychological engine at play. It is not emptiness. It is a rebellion, a quiet, calculated war against a culture that is trying to cannibalize your soul. To understand this silence, we must trace the wire back to the source. This didn't start with Instagram. It started at the dinner table. Many of the silent ones today were the watchful ones back then. You were the child who learned that the room was volatile. You learned that to survive the chaos of the adults around you, you had to become a monitor. You swallowed your anger. You polished your smile. You learned that love was conditional on your performance. Psychologists have a specific term for this: pathological altruism. It sounds noble, but the word pathological is the diagnosis. It is a kindness that eats you alive. It is the compulsion to set yourself on fire just to keep everyone else warm. When you grew up and met social media, a disaster occurred. You treated the internet the way you treated your family. You performed goodness. You offered validation. You curated perfection. It is an unconscious audition for belonging. Every caption, every photo was a submission form asking, "This is who I am. Is it enough? Do you love me now?" But deep down you were terrified. You feared that if you stopped performing, if you stopped being the audience for everyone else's drama, you would cease to exist. And here is where the technology turns your biology against you. This is not just burnout. This is hardware failure. We must look at the mirror neuron system. These are the specialized cells in your brain that allow you to feel what others feel. When you see someone cry, your brain lights up as if you are crying. When you see someone rage, your blood pressure spikes. It is the biological engine of empathy. But your brain was designed to mirror a tribe of 50 people. It was not designed to mirror a digital stadium of 5 million. Social media is a fire hose of raw, unfiltered emotion. A war in the East, a wedding in the West, a political outrage, a cat video, a funeral. Switch, switch. Switch your mirror neuron system does. Know these pixels on. Teat your immediate reality. It fires constantly. You are metabolizing the trauma of strangers. You are processing the anxiety of people you haven't seen in a decade. This leads to a clinical state known as compassion fatigue. It is the emotional equivalent of a third-degree burn. Your capacity to care has been cauterized. The people who don't post aren't healing. They are the ones who felt too much until their system tripped the circuit breaker. They went silent not to be rude, but to stop the hemorrhage. Imagine your attention is water, and your mind is a garden. For years, you have been the gardener for everyone else. You have watered their perceptions. You have pruned your identity to be palatable for them. You have tended to their validation, but look down. Look at the soil beneath your own feet. It is dust. Because you cannot water the world and expect your own garden to survive on rain that never comes. Every post you used to make was a flower you cut and handed to a stranger. When you stop posting, you are not abandoning the garden. You are simply closing the gate. You are finally turning the hose back onto your own roots. This is why silence feels so strange at first. It is the feeling of moisture returning to a desert. This brings us to a concept called psychological ownership. It is the deep, visceral sense that an experience belongs to you. But here is the paradox of the digital age. Publication is amputation. The moment you post a meaningful moment, that sense of ownership fades. The experience becomes shared property. It becomes open to judgment, to misinterpretation, to the indifference of a scrolling thumb. You trade the memory for the metric. The people who don't post are guarding their sense of ownership over life itself. They keep their moments untouchable, private, pure, untainted. They realize that the most profound things in life, growth, grief, transformation, are fragile. If you expose them to the light of public opinion too early, they wither. They are hoarding the diamonds of their existence in a vault, rather than throwing them into the street. Let us be honest about the mechanics of why we post. It is not just sharing. It is addiction. Every like, every comment releases dopamine. Over a decade, we have trained our brains to equate validation with value. We have been conditioned to believe that if it wasn't captured, it didn't happen. When someone steps outside this system, it feels like a rebellion. And it is. People who don't post often have a strong internal locus of control. This is a psychological term, meaning their sense of worth comes from within, not from external approval. They don't need the digital echo of "you are enough" to believe it. Stepping away is not disinterest. It is discipline. It takes immense self-awareness to resist a machine designed by the smartest engineers in the world to keep you hooked. It is the act of reclaiming your own biochemistry. So, do not let anyone tell you that your silence is selfish. Think of the safety briefing on every flight. Put on your own oxygen mask before assisting others. We often view silence as withdrawal, but in a depressurized environment, and make no mistake, the internet is a depressurized environment sucking the air out of the room. Silence is that oxygen mask. If you pass out from emotional hypoxia, you are good to no one. The people who don't post are often the ones who have realized that they are suffocating. They have stopped the frantic performance of breathing for an audience and started the deep, rhythmic work of breathing for themselves. It collects. It ferments. It explodes. You are stopping the explosion. You are choosing to breathe. Silence online doesn't always mean serenity immediately. Sometimes it hides exhaustion. Social media has amplified a subtle form of anxiety called self-presentational pressure. It is the constant awareness that you are being watched, even when you are alone. It is the panopticon of the mind. When you first leave, you will feel the withdrawal. You will question your worth. You will wonder if you are fading into irrelevance. But then, the fog lifts. You begin to notice something beautiful. Your worth doesn't disappear when nobody's looking. It is still there, steady like the hum of a quiet room after a storm. You start rediscovering the simplicity of doing things for the sake of the act itself. Cooking without photographing the plate, traveling without tagging the location, feeling heartbreak without explaining it in a caption. In that space, something awakens. A kind of self-awareness that does need an audience. This leads to the concept of congruence, the alignment between who you are inside and who you show to the world. In the age of filters, we are constantly distorted. We live as curated avatars. But when you stop posting, you force yourself to be congruent. You stop splitting yourself into a performer and a person. And paradoxically, this is where real connection begins. When you don't post, you stop chasing digital closeness and start rebuilding real intimacy. You learn who checks in on you without a notification. You learn who remembers you without a reminder. That kind of connection, raw, unbroadcasted, feels heavier, warmer. The people who don't post often have the most interesting stories to tell, but they save them. They save them for the shared silence, for the eyes meeting across a table, for the laughter that doesn't need witnesses. So, here is your philosophical permission. You do not owe the world a performance. You do not owe the algorithm your memories. You do not owe your friends a proof of life. Maybe they will say you are hiding. Maybe they will say you are lost. Let them, because you know the truth. You have found the quiet corners of existence, the ones not lit by the blue glow of a screen. You have remembered what the rest of us forgot, that being unseen doesn't mean being alone. That being quiet doesn't mean being empty. That sometimes the truest expression of who you are is silence. Stop performing. Start living. Every quiet, unfiltered, beautifully invisible day.